What's up, KMBR heads, and welcome to another episode. We're chugging along here. We are in NFL football mode here at KMBR, the sports leader, getting into week 5. Welcome to the practice squad. I'm your host, Walter Icabalceta, and alongside me, I guess virtually alongside me, is my guy, Derek Papa. What's up, D-Pop?
I'm always beside you, Walter. Let's keep chugging along here. Choo choo.
Choo choo. I'm sounding good. I'm sounding good, right? I'm not sounding tinny. We got that cleared up.
You're good. You're good. I apologize. I should have said something last week, but you were on a roll. I didn't want to stop you.
I was on a roll and I was underwater. That's how that podcast was recorded. And that's how we do things at the practice squad.
Under the sea.
We work things out. Okay, come on.
You're gonna get me start singing right away. All right.
I thought you were gonna do it. I thought you'd give your
no.
Impression.
We don't need to do Under the Sea. All right, sorry.
Under the Sea. Okay. Anyways, that's a good movie. You like Disney? You like
What the hell are you talking about?
What are you talking about?
I just like that song.
Jesus. Oh man. Well, I am excited because everybody knows what I do at the leader. Maybe you don't know what I do at the leader, but if you don't know what I do, I'll fill you in.
Tell people what you do, Walter.
I did some Giants weekend stuff, during the baseball season.
What does that mean?
I know. What is baseball? How do you?
No. What's weekend stuff?
Yeah. What do you mean weekend stuff? You know what weekend stuff is?
To tell the people.
The shows. It's the Giants warm-up show.
All right. Okay.
Everybody
sounds
knows.
Weird when you say, "Yeah, I was doing some Giants weekend stuff." I was like, I don't know what the hell that means.
Oh yeah, that's up to interpretation. That's what that means. But yeah, no, doing the Giants pregame shows and all that. 162, it just wrapped up. So this weekend is my first official. This is my start to the NFL season. So I am jacked up, dude. I'm going to plop on the couch, not doing anything. I mean, I was doing that regardless, but now I can do that from not around 12:30 into the night. Now I can start it at 8 a.m. where I'm just plopped on the couch, having some pancakes,
Ooh.
Just with the chocolate chips in it. Yeah, dude. All day long. All day long, I'm just going to do that. Are you a pancake guy or a waffle guy?
I like both. I mean, pancakes are good. I don't do the chocolate chips with the pancakes though.
Really?
No, but I should. That sounds good.
The chips with the waffles? Or?
I don't know. Not that either. I don't know if I want chocolate that early in the morning. I gotta be honest.
I don't think I ever want to have. I don't think I ever want to have breakfast with you. Let's just not do that.
Okay.
Yeah,
man. Have the Bloody Marys flowing, and you can have whatever you want for breakfast. I'm glad that you get the time off now, Walter, to enjoy football.
Dude, I am hyped. It took a couple of weeks, but yeah, I'm super ready to get into it, especially because the 49ers are starting to win games, and hopefully they can continue to do that, right? They did that against the Patriots. We'll get into that. We'll dive into that matchup and kind of preview what they have ahead of them going up against a divisional opponent with the Arizona Cardinals and Kyler Murray. That has always been an issue, not just Kyler Murray, but the 49ers playing against mobile quarterbacks has always been an issue. It's kind of like an Achilles heel for the 49ers in recent memory. So we'll get into all of that, but let's get into the news of the 49ers before we start looking at all the game and their game against the Patriots. They handled business like they were supposed to. They were big boys about it. But the big news is Christian McCaffrey, right? Christian McCaffrey, more news keeps coming out about that tendonitis, and now it looks like he has, what was it? Bilateral
tendonitis is the way that John Lynch put it with Murph and Marcus last Friday.
Yeah, man. So what that means is he has it now in both legs. I mean, that is not good. I mean,
well, let me be Mr. Positive here.
All right.
They always knew that.
Right side, yeah.
They like, this isn't anything new to the 49ers.
Sure.
I know, like, it's new to us. And honestly, like, the way that news works is hilarious to me because this was told to us by John Lynch last Friday.
Mm-hmm.
And then Adam Schefter goes on ESPN. He's like, I'm hearing from my sources that Christian McCaffrey has bilateral tendonitis. So we'll see when he comes back, if at all. Then 49ers knew this was the case.
Right.
So the way that they're talking about it, and we're recording this on a Thursday morning. Uh, Kyle Shanahan will give us an update on Tolbert and Copes today.
Yeah.
Um, it sounds like they're going to ramp him up to come back in the next couple weeks here. Now, we'll see how truthful that is. I mean, ramping up can mean anything, and a couple weeks could be, November. So we'll see when that actually happens. I guess he's eligible to return after the Seahawks game, so that's 2 more games.
Yep.
But it sounds from the Niner perspective like this is what was always the case. And I guess I don't really know anything, but connecting the dots, it sounds like Christian had an Achilles injury in one leg. For most of training camp, was nursing it, was maybe going to play the first game against the Jets. They decided against it just to be precautionary. Then he tries to ramp up, come back for Thursday or that Thursday before they play the Vikings.
Right.
It hurts it even more. And I guess it goes into both. And that's what we're dealing with now. So any updates that we've got in the last few weeks pertains to the bilateral tendonitis. So I don't think the Niners view this as like, oh my God, he's done for the year. I just think that when we hear this news now, people are like, oh my God, it's in both legs. Well, he can't do this. So I think everybody needs to calm down. I don't think he probably won't be ready by the Kansas City game.
Right, and that was the target date that we had early on in our shows early on in the season. Was you thought that he would come back? It was right because he was scheduled to come back around the Seahawks game, but then figured that on a short week he probably wouldn't do that, and it goes naturally into the Chiefs game.
Yeah, well, now, I mean, when he was put on IR, it was always going to be that case. I mean, yes, he was eligible to return for that game. So I'm getting my
Seahawks,
I'm getting my timelines mixed up. But he probably won't be back for the Seahawks game. Maybe won't be back for the Chief game. They have that bye week, and no, did the Niners have the bye week before the Cowboys game?
No. It goes Chiefs and Cowboys, so he might not be there for the Cowboys game.
So
either.
when is the Niners bye?
The bye should be after. It's that first weekend of November. Let me pull it up here, but it should be that first weekend of November after the Cowboys game, and then they go to
after the Cowboys game.
Yeah.
You may need to look at that.
That week after the Cowboys game, and then they travel to Tampa that following Sunday, November.
Yeah, I mean that seems more reasonable at this point. But I would say the news isn't great. Going to Germany, getting some goo on those legs. I don't know. I can't pretend like I know. I love when like people like, well, what are the Niners telling us? It's kind of like the way our guy John Shea was reacting with the Giants and the press conference for Buster Posey, where it's like, are you going to be a little more transparent? And Greg Johnson's like, well, we don't have to be. I don't think. I mean, it's great that John Lynch and Kyle Shanahan come on with KMBR, but they don't have to be truthful with us. They don't have to be truthful with any of us.
Right.
So they're going to handle this the way they want to.
And they can give half truths, you know.
Yeah. But you know what? Yeah, but you know what? My own personal feeling, I always do the school of thought of like when Steve Kerr years ago was like, I'm not going to tell you guys if Andrew Bogut's going to start or Andre Iguodala. I don't have to reveal that. I don't have to be moral in the way that I tell the media what's going on with the player. Right. So that's what I think pertains here. And I think that let's not freak out. I think this was kind of, maybe well known to people. I mean, Brody Brazil was filling in for Tom last week, and he was like, I think it's in both. So if you knew, you knew. If you don't, now you know. And I think that the Niners will handle this accordingly. So they're running fine. JP Mason is doing well. He's the second leading rusher in the NFL.
Yep.
Hey, that rhymed. But I would also say, in order for them to win the Super Bowl, they're going to need McCaffrey. So we'll see when that happens.
Yeah, you're just a natural Dr. Seuss, Derek.
That's me.
You're rhyming, yeah.
Hey, I'm not Dr. Seuss. I just play one on a podcast.
It's going to be really interesting to see how the 49ers, but what you just said there at the end was in order for them to be a contender and in order for them to go deep into the playoffs, in order for them to get back to the Super Bowl and have a chance to win the Super Bowl, they do need Christian McCaffrey. No slight to Jordan Mason or anything like that. He's been doing fantastic, like you mentioned, second in the league in rushing behind Derrick Henry. We'll talk about Derrick Henry because the Ravens finally figured out how to freaking use them. So he's just
Yeah.
running over everybody and stiff arm. Getting back to that classic highlight reel that we used to see every single week in Tennessee when he was a
Yep.
member of the Titans. But yeah, Mason hasn't been the issue. What has been the big issue for the Niners to this point? I think that the offense is actually churning much better than we would have anticipated without having Christian McCaffrey there. Um, their red zone offense is a little shaky. They still got to figure that out.
Yeah.
But I feel like their defense is maybe coming around a little bit. I don't know if it's just fool's gold when you're looking at what they did against the Patriots and they had those 6 sacks and Nick Bosa had himself a day and Fred Warner had himself a day. And then also you talking about injuries. All these guys are listed on the injury list. It's a matter of you can probably list more people on the injury list than actual 49er player. Now maybe not. Maybe I'm being a little dramatic there, Derek.
Yeah, I would say so, Schefter. Jesus.
But my point is, what has been the biggest hiccup in your mind? Because we spent so much time talking about McCaffrey that I feel like his loss isn't necessarily felt to a point on the stat sheet. I think that it's felt in other areas to where the defenses don't necessarily have to account for Jordan Mason in the passing game. But where would you say is like the biggest hindrance of the Niners to this point going into week 5?
I would say cohesion. I would say that guys have been hurt and it's been throwing things off. Now, I don't think that they've skipped a beat in the running department without McCaffrey,
Right.
but maybe in just how the offense flows.
Mm-hmm.
Christian McCaffrey is obviously more than just a running back. He's also a wide receiver. So the way that they use him, there's moments in games where you could see where Brock is getting pressured, where normally Purdy would just drop that down to him in the flat. So that's what I think is the biggest problem right now. And let's be real, that Brandon Ayuk not being in training camp has thrown off the offense a little bit during games, to the point where it's kind of weird. Like against the Rams, Brandon Ayuk was wide open, and then Purdy was just thrown off that he was wide open, which to me is not a good excuse. But
yeah, when he was cutting up the middle, right? And
yes,
he didn't see him at all.
and Kyle's explanation to that in the teleconference the next day was, yeah, Purdy just wasn't expecting him to be open, so he kind of froze. And I was like, I don't want to hear that. That's not a good excuse. That doesn't make any sense, actually.
Yeah, your quarterback can't do that. That's problematic. You're like,
exactly.
Oh, he's open? Like, no, you got to have that anticipation factor there.
I will say though, Purdy has not looked bad at all. He looks fine. He looks actually better to me. He's been more mobile, and maybe I just haven't noticed this in the past. He's been more mobile to me than I've seen in years past. I think that his mobility kept him in the Ram game. I mean, the way he was moving and evading pressure, and then last week against the Patriots, I thought the same thing. So Purdy's been playing lights out. Ayuk's been rusty. There's no doubt about that. But that's the sacrifice he paid to be paid. And they're just getting used to other things. Christian McCaffrey not being there is throwing off the offense. And as far as the defense, secondary's been playing fine. I don't, the pass rush maybe is not getting there as consistently as in years past, but I think that the defensive line downgraded this year. I think that Leonard Floyd opposite Nick Bosa is, a pretty good pickup. I don't know about him. I think I've said this in the past. I don't know about him being like the primary defensive end opposite Nick Bosa. I thought that maybe he should have been more like a rotational guy, just a third down pass rusher, and he got someone younger in there. But losing Eric Armstead and now Javon Hargrave's out for the season, you got Malik Collins and Jordan Elliott as your guys in the middle. I don't think the defensive line is as strong as in years past. So there'll be, Fred Warner's playing incredible. He's having an early Defensive Player of the Year campaign. But I would say that it's so early in the season that everyone just expects the 49ers to be clicking on all cylinders given the last 5 seasons of their success. And everyone's kind of coming out slow out the gate. Eagles are 2-2, Cowboys are 2-2, Packers are 2-2. I would say just the Niners are kind of in that mix right now of other teams in the NFC that are kind of, we've been there, done that. It doesn't really matter what seeding we get. Just as long as we make the playoffs, we'll be good. So I would say, yeah, things are not fantastic. It's a little screwy, everything with the contracts this year, and then going into the season now, there's injuries. But I would say everything's fine. You could be worse. You could be the 0-4 Jaguars. I don't think the sky is falling for the Niners. They got their win against the Patriots. Granted, it was the Patriots. It was kind of a good, let's get back in the groove of things. And maybe this week will be the same thing. I don't really. I thought the Arizona Cardinals were impressive the first 2 weeks. Now, not so much.
Right.
So yeah, I think the Niners are fine. I think it's just, you know, kind of the early pains of the season as it is for other teams.
Yeah, it'll be really interesting to see where the season goes with the Niners. But yeah, I'm not really panicking on that front, just because, as you mentioned, all the teams in the NFC, where we were talking about the NFC being daunting, right? And everyone has kind of come out limping a little bit, not necessarily limping, but not as sharp as you would have anticipated.
Mm-hmm.
You do figure that all of those teams that we were talking about, the Eagles, the Cowboys, the Lions, all those teams, and now you throw the Vikings in the mix as one of the, I guess, surprise teams in the NFC right now, and then we'll have to see what happens with the NFC South. But they have a lot of good teams in that division right now as well. But when it all shakes up and everyone starts to rev up the engines a little bit, the Niners are kind of treading water right now, and they have an easy part of their schedule, but then it really cranks up in about 2 weeks when they travel to Seattle. They have to play that Thursday night game on a short week, and then they turn around. They're well rested, 10 days off before they play the Chiefs. Then they have to play the Cowboys, and then just the gauntlet just continues. I mean, the game in Tampa isn't going to be easy either.
Yeah.
I think Tampa Bay is a formidable opponent right now at this point in the season. I mean, obviously things can change, but they looked really good against the Eagles. That
Yeah.
surprised me. So yeah, it's going to be really interesting to see. But just a point that you touched on, Derek, was Brock Purdy, and let's just go ahead and transfer into the upon further review, right? Let's just transfer into upon further review, and
Good.
let's look at Brock Purdy, because is his success right now, is it a indirect cause of McCaffrey not being there, to where he has to be the guy every week and he has to put the team on his shoulders? Because I feel like, and I know you're shaking your head a little bit, but what I'm saying
No,
is,
I'm just pondering.
but all right, you're pondering. I like your pondering face, but
Thank you. It's kind of like the emoji.
yeah, yeah, you got to put your hands up under your chin. Yeah.
Hmm.
You're thinking, ponder,
Hmm.
Christian ponder. So when you look at
I
Brock
prefer saying
Purdy,
ponder.
when you look at Brock Purdy and what he's been able to do at this point in the season, I do feel like like, is he just evolving as a quarterback? Because I
Yeah.
feel like he is starting to go over the top more. He's starting to be
Yeah.
a more vertical passing game with his receivers, to where he's not necessarily relying, and maybe that's a cause because Christian McCaffrey isn't there. He's not relying on the dump off pass. He is looking down the field. He has his eyes down the field. And then you mentioned his mobility. I mean, that was a point of emphasis for him this offseason, where he was getting a lot of lower body work done. And I don't know if he was just foreseeing what was to come with the offensive line, and he knows that he needed to get out and extend plays and just add that to his arsenal, right? But do you think that Brock Purdy has gotten better because Christian McCaffrey isn't there?
I think he's just gotten better as a quarterback. But honestly, yeah. I mean, I really haven't thought about that, Walter. But maybe he has gotten better to not have to rely on McCaffrey. Now he still has a galaxy of stars in
Of
Debo
course,
and
yeah.
Kittle, and I mean, really Juwan Jennings over Ayuk right now. But yeah, I guess so. I mean, I don't think it all falls on the shoulders of Brock. I think that there's still very good players out there, and I think that Jordan Mason has really, picked up the slack. But yeah, I guess I would say that. I guess that Purdy has really he's evolving as a quarterback, because the unfair thing last year was basically saying, well, Brock shouldn't be an MVP. It's McCaffrey. And if you had to ask me who was MVP a year ago, I would have picked Christian McCaffrey.
Right.
Um, but Brock Purdy had a.
You're talking NFL, right? You're not
I'm,
just talking.
I'm talking about the whole league. I'm
Yeah,
talking.
yeah, yeah.
I thought that honestly, like Dak had a good season, Brock had a fantastic season, Lamar had a good
Right,
season,
right.
but really, if this was the early 2000s, I think that McCaffrey would have won MVP. For whatever reason, we got away from that mentality that it always needs to be a quarterback that wins that award.
Right.
But no, I think that Brock is. I mean, he was going to probably evolve as a quarterback anyway with McCaffrey, but I think now you're seeing that he has to do a little bit more. So yeah, I would agree with you there, Walter. And Yeah, no, I thought I was going to add an extra point there, but no, I think that's a good point to be made. That yeah, he's definitely growing as a quarterback.
Yeah, I just think that he's taken his game to another level. And yeah, I mean, it's nice to have Christian McCaffrey as that security blanket, as that dump off, because that's usually where I mean Christian McCaffrey makes his money, right? That's his bread and butter, to where he kind of sits down in the flat or underneath, and Purdy drops it off to him, and he turns a 5-yard completion into a 25-yard completion, right?
Yeah,
So I think a lot of people, when you look at the MVP conversations of last year, they were just like, yeah, he's just it's all yak yards, like he's not throwing it far or anything. But now he doesn't have that necessarily. He still
yeah.
has, as you mentioned, he still has Jawan Jennings, who I think we both agree that he's probably the best wide receiver on the 49ers
I would say the most
currently.
reliable wide receiver right now.
You want to say that he's the best? I mean, he's pretty good
As
from
far
what
as
he's
the
been doing.
yes, as far as the purest wide receiver, yes, because Debo is more of a Swiss Army knife,
Right.
and Ayuk. I mean, when he's 100% and good to go, yeah, I think that he should be the number one wide receiver. But yeah, right now I would say Juwan is the most reliable. But yeah, he's playing like the best wide receiver right now. I figured out what I was going to say. I have a question for you, Walter.
Okay. Go
Which
ahead.
player do you think is the biggest surprise right now? Jordan Mason or Juwan Jennings?
Ooh, I would probably say Jordan Mason.
Okay.
I would probably say Jordan Mason, just because there was you saw a little bit of a sample size of what Jawan can do, and he was Mr. Reliable. I mean, you talk about reliability. He was Mr. Reliable in the Super Bowl. He was Mr. Reliable
Mm-hmm.
down the stretch, third down. I mean, that is who Brock Purdy was looking to majority of the time last year, and into his early parts of his career. Jawan Jennings has been reliable. He's always seems to get open. It's just a matter of getting the ball to him. So you knew that it was there for Jawan. The fact that he's doing it to a level that he's doing right now is a little surprising, but it's you knew it was there. But with Mason, you didn't really know what you had there, because he wasn't really getting the reps that you would like to see from the running back room. I mean, he just wasn't really available. He wasn't really there. So the fact that he's able to do that, and this offensive line, it's good, but it's not great. So the fact that he's running in the style that he is, he's overly physical. Like he looks like a Debo. I know. Who was it? I think it was Mark Sanchez made the comp to Marshawn Lynch, or someone on the broadcast early in the season made the comp to Marshawn Lynch, and he does run with that physicality. I'm not up there to say that he's beast mode at this point in his
Right.
career,
Right.
but he's just a physical runner, and you can't take him down, right? And I didn't know that he had that in him, to where you need multiple guys to bring this guy down. That's something that was more shocking for me to find out and discover from Jordan Mason. So that would be my guy. That I would be more shocked from Mason in what he's doing. I mean, I know this isn't a running league anymore.
Mm-hmm.
It is drastically shifted from what we grew up
Well,
watching
this year it
with
is.
all the great running backs. But when you look to it, I mean, he's second in the NFL, just behind Derrick Henry. So yeah, I would say that is a shocking development, and a good thing to have for the 49ers, given the situation that they're in with their star running back.
Yeah, I know. I mean, I totally get that. And I think that, I mean, I didn't know what Jordan Mason was capable. When I saw that he was filling in for Christian McCaffrey, I was like, okay, he's probably the bell cow that could probably get, a good amount of yards here or there, but I didn't expect him to be the second leading rusher in the league right now. But
Right.
that's not surprising to me, just given Kyle Shanahan's ability to get the most out of
It's
any
true.
running back.
Yeah.
Even his dad, everybody's talked
Right.
about the Shanahans and their ability to get 1,000-yard rushers and the likes of Mike Anderson or Orlando Scary or Tatum Bell. My thing is, I'm more surprised at Jawan Jennings just because I didn't know what type of wide receiver he really was. I know that he comes up clutch on third downs, third and Jawan,
Sure.
but
Yeah.
I didn't know he was a
Right, and
11
Juwan,
catch third in the Juwan. Or Juwan, I should say. I said Taylor the One for whatever reason.
it's okay. I was going
Um,
to let it pass.
I wasn't aware that Jawan Jennings was an 11 catch, 175-yard, 3 touchdown type of wide receiver.
Right.
So to me, that's the bigger surprise. How long it lasts, don't know. But Truth is, I would say that Jawan Jennings is playing like the $30 million wide receiver over Ayuk right now.
I know. It's that's. I mean, Brandon Ayuk. Granted, he made a nice catch on Sunday. He made that little.
Yeah, that
dive
doesn't mean
catch.
he's back. That doesn't mean he's back. And I'll say this too.
Everybody's going nuts. Oh, he's back! Look at that! Look at that catch pop!
Yeah, and people were freaking out about, oh well, he taking off his shorts at practice. I'm like, relax, okay? Like, obviously there was some contentious feelings
in the bullpen, Derek. Taking off shorts at practice. Come on, let's see what I do out there.
What the hell are you talking about?
I don't know. Go ahead.
Jesus, Walter. Your sense of humor sometimes.
Sorry, we're off the rails. Go ahead. Go.
You
go,
are off the rails. Don't be taking your shorts off at work. Jesus, it's incredibly inappropriate. I'll say this. I know that people are like looking for something there between Kyle and Ayuk, and there probably was contentious feelings with the contract negotiations. But if they were on the verge of trading Ayuk to the Pittsburgh Steelers, you think Kyle, like in a romantic, drama at the end of the movie, like trying to get a hold of John Lynch, you got to pick up the phone. He's not picking up. Get out of the way.
Yeah.
I got to get to him in time. Don't make the deal. I love him. Like, do you think that would happen?
He goes full liar, liar, Jim Carrey running after the plane.
Yeah, exactly. Please, I love my son. Like I said, like I think I said this on the podcast a couple weeks ago, where it's there's and for whatever reason, the Niners facility, there's two men moving like a stale glass window, and he's like, get out of the way. He just runs right through it.
Yeah, you can see the golf cart he's driving around.
Yeah, exactly. I don't think Kyle Shanahan would go through those links if he was not a fan of Brandon Ayuk.
Right.
So this whole conversation of, oh, well, he hates him because he made him change his shorts at practice, that's commonplace. It's just, I thought it was hilarious that Brandon Ayuk kind of acted like a 2-year-old when he tried to kick his shorts away and he totally missed.
Yeah.
And then the conversation today. I know that his name has been brought up with the 49ers.
Uh-huh.
Davante Adams will not be traded to the 49ers. And if you want to make this a bigger segment, we can. But I think this conversation is complete bullcrap.
Well, I think that is a great transition point to where we get into our gridiron gab.
Let's gab away.
It's time for that. Let's gab away. You brought it up. Hey, I know you're upset. No, it's a touchy topic for you, Derek.
No. Hey, listen. I knew this eventually was going to happen. So let's get into it.
All right, so Davante Adams, talking about disgruntled wide receivers. 49ers had it all offseason, and now the Las Vegas Raiders, have their disgruntled wide receiver, Davante Adams. He has requested a trade formally. Now, right? He said that he would
prefer a trade.
Yeah. So I guess the question is, you're not a believer that it's going to happen. You think that he's going to stick with the Las Vegas Raiders? You think he's not going anywhere?
No.
Oh, you think it's done? You think it's over?
I think he will be traded.
Okay.
Don't get me wrong there. Like,
you just don't think that he's getting traded to the Niners?
No, yeah.
Shut that down immediately.
Okay, so let me go through everything. So
go ahead.
Everyone's seen Davante Adams on the Netflix show. And prior to that, if you watched Raider games, you saw that even prior to that. So okay, let's go to the beginning.
When did it all start, Derek? Where did it all go wrong?
It started
at that moment.
I will. It started in the crazy offseason of free agency in March of 2022 when Davante Adams was traded to the Raiders. And I love the move. But of course, if you ask any Raider fan, they will say, this is too good to be true, because this is reminiscent of Randy Moss or Antonio Brown.
Good things don't happen to us.
Exactly. And we all know how those situations went. It was not long until both those guys were like, I want the hell out of here. And with Antonio Brown's case, it happened right before the season started. So it just felt too good to be true. I said all the time, like, how long until Davante wants out of the Raiders? But the big selling point was Derek Carr. So Derek Carr, I think, has a okay season with the Raiders. Not amazing, but enough to make Josh McDaniels go, we could do better. And that better was Jimmy Garoppolo. And Davante Adams did not think that was an upgrade. And it definitely was not. He voiced it day one when they signed Jimmy Garoppolo. I think he tweeted something along the lines of, don't ask me about this shit. Which he later said, it wasn't about that. Really? Yeah. So It was clear.
Didn't he comp going from wasn't it like from a Ferrari to like a Prius or something?
From one Hall of Famer to another.
Yeah, yeah.
When he said going from Aaron Rodgers to Derek Carr.
Oh, okay, that's
So
what he said. That's what he said.
so
I thought he made comments about the transition from Derek Carr to Jimmy Garoppolo.
I don't I don't know about that. He did a whole article he did a whole article about
Yeah.
in the Ringer where he said like, would I have preferred Aaron Rodgers or, another quarterback? Probably. And that's what happened. So
Right.
Davante made the best of it. And it was, I saw during the season his frustration. And then he lightened up when Antonio Pierce was the head coach.
Yep.
Was he getting the same offensive production? No. But he was happy. So then, this offseason, we're like, okay, they got to get a better quarterback for him. And if that means drafting a quarterback, then I'm sure that Davante Adams will be okay with that. But they don't. They miss out on Michael Penix, and the whole league did with the Atlanta Falcons drafting of him. So they stick with Gardner Minshew and Aiden O'Connell, and I'm sure Davante was not happy about that. I think earlier in the year, he actually campaigned for them to get Kirk Cousins, which I'm like, I don't know if Kirk Cousins fits with the Raiders at that time. That didn't make sense. The best thing to do was draft a quarterback. So then this summer, the Netflix show comes out, and we actually hear him talk about his frustration and see it on the sideline where he says, "Cover your ears, kids. Get me the fuck out of here."
Mm-hmm.
But then he's more happy as the season goes on because Antonio Pierce is there. But while that is going on, while that show came out, Aaron Rodgers is at Lake Tahoe golfing. And some guys like, what do you think about getting Davante? And Aaron Rodgers goes, I can't wait to play with him again. And then Davante Adams has to release a statement saying, I'm good. I'm good being with the Raiders. All the while, we really know he probably would prefer going someplace else. But he's a consummate pro. He's going to stick it out.
Sure.
Then the season starts. I don't know what the hell happened because they lose that game against the Panthers. And Antonio Pierce calls out the team saying, people are making some business decisions. We're going to make some business decisions of our own. Then Davante Adams has a hamstring injury. And he very well could. But that happens. And then right after the Raiders beat the Cleveland Browns without Davante Adams, Antonio Pierce likes an Instagram post from Sports Illustrated saying, should Davante Adams be traded from the Raiders? Now, it may be a bigger issue with me of why a head coach is doing something like that.
Yeah.
Now, it was deleted afterwards, but come on, man. Like, you're a grown-ass man, and you got to set an example for everyone else. And, of course, this is Antonio Pierce, the guy that was the ringleader for all the sanctions that came against Arizona State. I'll leave that by itself.
Mm-hmm.
So then that happens. And then Davante Adams is asked about it by Kay Adams, and he's like, I haven't had any communication with Antonio Pierce. And Kay Adams is like, well, that's weird. And then a few hours later,
what happened? Yeah, I saw it.
And then a few hours later, we get the report from Ian Rappaport that he preferred a new team, and I was not happy at all. And this is not even me being a former Raider fan. I'm not as diehard as I used to be, even though I bleed a little silver and black. But watching Antonio Pierce's press conference where they ask him about everything, he's like, I'm just moving on to Denver. No, you need to take some accountability for whatever the hell happened.
Right.
Like, it's on you. Something happened. I want to know what the hell happened behind closed doors now, and Davante Adams was all about Antonio Pierce, and now there seems to be a rift between the two. But the rumors today, not the rumors, I guess Ian Rappaport threw out a ton of teams.
Yeah.
Throughout the New Orleans Saints, Dallas Cowboys, Baltimore Ravens, Pittsburgh Steelers, and the San Francisco 49ers. And now, I don't fault anybody, but radio stations are going with, should the Niners trade for Davante Adams? And what do you trade him for? Brandon Ayuk? They just signed him to the new deal.
Right.
And I don't think that makes sense for anybody. For the 49ers to give up more draft capital, I don't think that makes sense at all. You can't just start signing guys and then trading them away. I don't think that's a good way of doing business.
Would you trade Debo, though?
No. And also, I don't think it's in the best interest of the 49ers to trade any wide receiver away right now.
Yeah.
Like right now, they're
That's not what they need. That's not their position of need right
yeah,
now.
but they don't have a good groove going right now offensively.
Right.
Like, so why now bring in somebody new and then have to wait for that to develop?
But could you imagine Davante Adams, just for sake of argument, Davante Adams coming over to the 49ers, you find out what trade package would make that happen. Imagine, because we've noted that there's struggles in the red zone, and that has been because Christian McCaffrey isn't there. You have Davante Adams come in there. I don't think that solves all your problems, but that does give you another big option in the red zone when the Niners get down there.
Yeah, but I would also say this: watching Raider games this year, Davante Adams has been dropping passes.
Yeah.
It's not like he's been a perfect player
Yeah,
right now.
but is he playing inspired football? Like, would it change if he came to a team that he knows has aspirations to getting to a Super Bowl? Because coming in, like the mentality of a player going into this season as a member of the Raiders, what is your ceiling? Like, what are you playing for essentially?
Well, I'll say this too. I don't know what exactly happened behind closed doors with Antonio Pierce and Davante Adams, but
Yeah,
when you say business decisions,
yeah,
uh, I'm just throwing this out there. I don't necessarily know if this is true or not.
hmm
Davante Adams, he's a fantastic wide receiver,
sure,
not the most purest blocker.
yeah,
I
right,
don't know if Antonio Pierce thought that there was a half-ass block, and he was calling him out for that, which probably Davante Adams, a player of his caliber, being called out like that may not have sat well with him.
Sounds like a
For
clash of egos, man. It sounds like a clash of egos right there.
no doubt.
And
So
as the head coach, I mean, he should kind of. I mean, it's kind of on him,
yeah, I would say that
in my opinion.
this happened years ago with Jack Del Rio calling out Derek Carr in meetings,
Right,
and
right,
that's what led to Jack Del Rio being fired.
right.
Um, I don't know if Brandon Ayuk, or sorry, I don't know if Davante Adams fits as a blocker
hmm
in Kyle Shanahan's offense. So there's that. I'll also say this, and people could downplay this all they want, but it's really relevant here. The 49ers and Raiders will never do a deal together.
Yes,
I I believe that in my heart of hearts. You can
100%.
you can ask my dad, you can ask Cam Inman, you can ask people
Yeah.
that know both sides of
Yep.
both organizations. They hate each other.
Yes.
There is, and if this is true, there is pure animosity from the Raiders to the 49ers for them being in Las Vegas right now.
Yeah.
I I think they always wanted to go to Las Vegas, but they tell people we would have liked to stay in Oakland. And I think they blame that 100% on the 49ers' success. Now, is that valid? That's a whole nother argument. Or is that valid, like feelings from the Raiders' standpoint?
Mhm.
That could be just little brother syndrome. I 100% acknowledge that. But it's there. And there was a deal on the table from the 49ers to the Raiders to get Khalil Mack years ago. And it was the better deal between them and the Bears.
Yep.
And John Gruden and the Raiders said, no, thank you. We can't trade you to the 49ers. We just can't do that. This
Right.
is our
It's bad
remaining
for
years.
business.
It's
Bad for
bad for
business.
business.
Yeah.
It's our last few remaining years in Oakland.
Yeah.
Can you imagine just Khalil Mack just packing his things up, going across the bridge, balling out with the Niners, and the Raiders are like, well, we're off to Vegas. Like that would not go well. And it wouldn't go well now because despite the fact that they're apart in two separate states, there's still I live in Oakland. There still is a love for the Raiders here.
Right.
And I just I can't see that happening. I just don't think it'll be a cold day in hell where I know that Al Davis had his problems with the 49ers. Mark
Mhm.
Davis has more issues with the 49ers and Jed York. So I would say I don't see that ever happening, that a trade would be done between those two franchises.
Well, let's take a look. So, just nix the deal with the Raiders and the Niners.
Okay.
Not going to happen. Okay, that's out the table. But
Yeah.
now you look at the potential suitors that were listed that you mentioned. I believe it was Rappaport, Schefter that put out the list. I think it was Rappaport.
It was Rappaport, but let's Saints, Cowboys, Ravens, Steelers. I'd say
Who do you think most likely
it's
that
none of them.
he gets to? None of them, really.
It's none of them, because Rappaport also said this
Yeah.
that people are missing in today's stuff. Listen, the Niners make the rounds on everybody. They
Yeah.
inquired about Justin Jefferson earlier this year.
Sure.
So, and that didn't come to fruition. And I just think the Niners inquire when a guy's on the block, you always pick up the phone and say, "So what would it take?" Okay, well, thank you, and then you move on.
Mhm.
Rappaport said this morning. The reality is Davante Adams wants to go to the Jets. That's what he wants,
Right.
and we'll see if that happens. That's what I think ultimately goes down. Is
So it's
do the rate?
Jets or bust essentially is what you're saying.
I wouldn't say bust. I throw the Saints in there too, just because of Derek Carr.
Okay.
But if I had to guess, I'm going to say Jets, just because the Jets are more desperate. They want to win a Super Bowl with Aaron Rodgers there.
Mm-hmm.
I don't even think. I mean, it wasn't the issue of the wide receivers, and even though Garrett Wilson didn't get that many receiving yards last week, it's the offensive line that's trouble for the Jets right now. But they
Right.
invest too much money in that, so they're not really going to do anything there.
Right.
It's just a matter of them improving. But if they get Davante Adams, which I think they've always been waiting for, then yeah, I think that makes them better. And the Raiders just lost Malcolm Kuntz for the season. Could they want to get Hassan Reddick? So
Mm-hmm.
I personally, and
Wow,
you
I
could
didn't
throw
even
out the
think, I didn't even
49ers
think
there.
about Hassan Reddick. I didn't even think
Yeah.
about that.
Yep.
Yeah.
And you could throw the 49ers out there, but Devontae has no ties to the 49ers. I think he wants to go to a place midseason where he can pick up the offense pretty quickly. So
Right.
that would apply to Nathaniel Hackett, who he knows from the Packers, and Aaron Rodgers. So I think that'd be a seamless transition. It depends on the compensation. I think it's the Jets for Devontae.
Yeah, I mean, you might not be far off there. Just looking at the potential suitors, I mean, yeah, it makes sense for him to go to New Orleans. It makes sense for him to go to the Jets. But I would love to see what he would do with potentially the Bills, or even could you imagine if he ended up on Baltimore and all the weapons that they have there? I mean, I don't know if it's not necessarily an upgrade at quarterback, but I mean, that's a good offense there in Baltimore.
It is. I don't know about him playing with Lamar Jackson.
Yeah. What do you
I
think?
don't.
Clash of like hot heads or what?
No. I just think that
The play style,
the play style.
running around.
I think that Devontae likes a specific type of quarterback that's going to give the ball to him perfectly.
Right.
And Lamar is not that type of guy. Now
Right.
he is a really good quarterback.
Sure.
But I think if you ask, I think Devontae wants to play with Aaron Rodgers or Derek Carr. And I know people are going to be like, Derek Carr is better than Lamar Jackson. It's a style and play.
Right.
It's just a
Right.
style of play. I
You
think
go with familiarity, and you know what you're getting, to where Lamar is kind of sporadic in a good way. I mean, he does a lot of off schedule things, but
yes,
yeah, to your point, Devontae can look at Aaron Rodgers, and Derek Carr knows the route that he needs to run and knows the ball is going to be there at the end of it. You know what I
yep,
mean? So
yeah.
yeah, that can be a big thing. But really quick, just to end the gab, because we were talking about the Ravens. And they have
So
now.
have it gabbing away.
Well, we were talking about the Ravens. Derrick Henry, he's going off. They finally unlocked him. Know how to use him. But I do want to go kind of run through contenders or pretenders really quick after a week 4, where some of these teams kind of took a step back, because I mean, we were talking about the Saints a couple of weeks ago, and
Okay.
they looked like they were going crazy, but they did not perform well, or I guess they performed decent, but they lost against the Atlanta Falcons. You did cover on that game. You did pick the Falcons to cover 1.5.
Damn straight I did.
But let's start there. Let's start with the NFC South. Actually,
Okay.
we were talking about the Ravens. We'll get back to them, but the NFC South, the Saints, the Falcons, and the Bucks. I mean, contenders, pretenders. Which ones do you think are gonna last throughout the entirety of the NFL season?
I think I got to start taking the Buccaneers more seriously, because I've always
Yeah.
since last year I was like, God, they're another 9-8 team making the playoffs. I don't really know about them. And then they kicked the
Right.
Eagles' ass, and I
Right.
kind of attributed that to the Eagles just falling down. But they kicked their ass again, and now the Bucks are 3-1. The offense is doing pretty well with Baker Mayfield. I really can't knock them, so I'll go contenders there. Falcons, I don't know yet, and I think
Yeah.
we'll know more tonight when the Falcons play the Buccaneers.
Yep.
But I'm buying the defense. Offense, I'm not so sure. So at this point, I would say pretenders to the Falcons. And then the Saints, they looked great offensively the first 2 weeks, and then came back down to reality against the Eagles and Falcons. I think they're a good team, but are they really a contender? I'd say no. So right now, I'd probably go. The only contender really is the Bucks, and the Falcons and Saints are pretenders.
All right, I like that. I would probably go the same with
Yeah.
that. I might give a little bit more leniency to the Falcons more than to the Saints, just because of Kirk Cousins and the weapons that they do have offensively. I think that they can come around. It's just going to be a matter of how long does it take them to come around. So it'll be really interesting. And obviously, I mean, all these teams are playing against each other. So anything head to head, those matches are or they are the must watch and the biggest games of their seasons when they go play against the rest of their division. So it's going to be really interesting to see how the NFC South shakes up over the entirety of the 2024 season. Let's look at some of the other teams that took some big L's last week. We were spending a good deal of
Big
talking
L, rest
about
in
trade. We were taking a great deal of talking about potential trade suitors for Davante Adams.
Okay.
The Jets laid an egg against the Broncos.
Yeah.
What the hell was that?
That was Sean Payton getting his revenge for last year's comments on Nathaniel Hackett. Remember that?
We thought it would go the other way.
I thought
We're going to drop 40 on them.
Well, last year that happened where Zach Wilson went into Denver and beat the Broncos.
Right.
And that was Nathaniel Hackett getting his revenge. This year, they finally got Aaron Rodgers and scored 9. That defense is good. That Jet defense is good. It always has been. The Jets offense got to score more than 9 points. And it was not to give excuses, but it was a rainy day and Aaron Rodgers is definitely not 100%.
Yeah. I don't want to hear that crap.
Yeah,
no.
I know. But
it's football, baby.
Bo Nix throwing for 60 yards and winning the game. Yeah, right now.
Was it a fluke? Was it an anomaly? Or is that a thing to kind of be worried about with the Jets?
When you say contenders, are you talking about Super Bowl?
I mean, I'm just saying a formidable opponent going down get into the playoffs. I mean, we know that not everyone are Super Bowl contenders. Like, there's only a handful of teams, but someone that can make noise in the playoffs, I guess, is the better question.
I would say the Jets. I want to be the least. I mean, if they make this move for Davante Adams, there may be times this season where we go, man, this Jets team does not look good. Then they get hot down the stretch. Then they're in the playoffs, and then they upset somebody in the wild card round. You're like, oh shit. Okay, this team with Aaron Rodgers in the defense, now this team's ready to go. You know what? I'll say contenders just because they have Aaron Rodgers, and this early in the season, no one knows what the hell's going on. I would not be the least bit surprised if the Jets turn things like it's that classic thing where we say early in the season, like, this team can win, and then as the playoffs go on, you're like, oh shit, this Jets team may be for real.
Yeah, man, it's going to be really interesting to see that division and just because you mentioned there with Aaron Rodgers. I mean, anytime you have a top quarterback, and obviously he's going to get into the Hall of Fame, he's going to get his gold jacket and all that. We all know that is what is ahead for Aaron Rodgers. So anytime you have someone at the helm under center of that caliber, and you know that it's in there still, I mean, yeah, they have a chance to make some noise. But let me get your thoughts a little bit here, because a little bit of a preview for the Niners. The Cardinals did take on the Washington Commanders last week, and we are starting to see the emergence of Jaden Daniels, where that offense has been clicking for, I mean, all season long. It has just been incredible to see. So it's crazy how much a quarterback can change the outlook of a team. And right now, I mean, we were talking about the NFC East, and the Cowboys not in first place, the Eagles not in first place. It's the Washington Commanders in first place, 3-1 on the season. Jaden Daniels leading the charge. Contenders, pretenders. Where are we at with the Commanders right now?
It's way too early for me to say they're contenders.
Come on, man.
But
say it now.
I'm going to say pretenders, but
all right.
They look good offensively right now.
They look good, man.
Impressive to go into Cincinnati and win that game, and even more impressive for Cliff Kingsbury to get his revenge against the Arizona Cardinals.
Right.
So I think Jaden Daniels has been perfect for that offense. It makes a ton of sense now why Cliff Kingsbury left the Raiders to go to the Commanders. Rookie walls happen every now and then. You could see a game coming up here where you're like, whoa, Jaden Daniels, where did that come from? There'll be a time where he gets blitzed and he doesn't know what to do. I'll say Pretenders right now, but I've been very impressed by them.
Yeah, really, really impressive to see what the young quarterback can do there in Washington. Yeah. So it'll be really interesting to see how his season continues.
And just real quick, Walter. Sorry, but like I thought the Arizona Cardinals defense was a little bit better, but I guess not. They gave up 34 to the Buffalo Bills week 1.
Yes.
The Rams were decimated. Kyler Murray had a fantastic performance offensively with Marvin Harrison Jr. catching 3 touchdowns. Maybe 2, but regardless. They win that game easily. Then the Cardinals get shut down to a better team from the Detroit Lions.
Yep.
But the ass kicking that the Commanders put on the Arizona Cardinals was very impressive and kind of makes me think twice about the Cardinals defense, which I think that means that the Niners should have a good day against that defense. Now, will they have a hard time containing Kyler Murray? Maybe. They always do, but
right.
I think that there'll be enough talent on the Niners side to counteract what the Arizona Cardinals do.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see that play out, just because we know it's well documented. Niners struggle with, and in the past, it just with mobile quarterbacks, it just makes it that much more difficult to contain. And Kyler Murray can run circles around them, and we understand that. But to counteract that their run defense, the Cardinals I'm talking about, is not great. It's better than their pass defense, and that's because their pass defense is damn near bottom 3 in the NFL. I want to say that they're allowing well over 100 QBR to opposing quarterbacks. I think they're like 30 or 31st in the NFL. So their pass defense is just atrocious. So it's a matter of how much emphasis or I guess who has a bigger day, Jordan Mason or Brock Purdy, because I think both of them are poised to have big games in week 5 against the Cardinals. So let's wrap up here with the Gridiron Gab, and then we'll get into our producer pick'ems. We'll run through all the matchups for week 5. But really quick, 2 undefeated teams remain. It is the Kansas City Chiefs and it is the Minnesota Vikings. Really quick question. Who outlasts? Who is the last remaining undefeated team this year?
Really quick answer, the Chiefs.
You think it's going to be the Chiefs?
I wouldn't be surprised if the Vikings lose this weekend.
Wow, against the Jets, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, all right. Are you buying the Vikings?
I am, but I want to see Sam Darnold come back in a game.
Yeah.
Because
Sam Darnold, a revenge game this weekend.
It is, but I would also say that Sam Darnold, he's been playing very well, but it's been schemed up pretty nicely for him when everything's going according to plan. What happens when things don't go according to plan? He has to come back in a game.
What happens when you get hit in the face?
Yes, exactly.
That's where men are made. Yeah,
exactly.
All right.
Walter knows.
Yeah, I know. I've been hit in the face a couple times. All right, let's go ahead and switch on over to the producer pick'ems. It is now that time. Let's get into it. Let's kind of recap. You won again. You won again.
What's your punishment, Walt?
Well, I thought I was gonna wear a Dodger cap, but I don't see one in here. So now I'm behind 2. I'm behind 2 punishments now because I lost back-to-back weeks. So do you have to upgrade that to like a jersey or something? Do I have to root for them? Do I have to go to a bar and like openly cheer for the Dodgers in San Francisco somewhere?
You might have to, yeah.
All right. We'll do that.
And film you and put it on the KNBR.
Dodgers have taken on the Padres.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
But I'm talking about like the whole playoffs.
Oh,
and then Michael Connell comes and films you at the bar.
Okay.
And we post it on KNBR.
All right. Well, now I thought we were just doing this for our amusement. Now you want it publicly. You want this thing out on X.
I want shame on you, Walter. I want people to see you in the streets and point at you and say, "There's the man. There's the bad guy."
For just week 4 and week 5? Jesus.
Yes.
All right. You,
This
bet,
team
you
still
better
hurts.
you better hope you don't lose a week because I'm gonna give it to you.
I don't like the sound of that at all. All right, let's go. Pick
X
'em.
gonna give it to you. All right, let's do it. So last week you won. I have the numbers here. I believe you went. You went 5-3. You went 5-3 on the week. So congratulations to you. You are now 19-12 on the season. So look at you. Look at you. Yeah, dance away, Derek. You are 19-12 on the season. I went 3-5. It was not great. You actually started the morning phenomenal, dude. You were 3-0 on the morning slate. And then I forget who screwed you up. I think it was the Jets, actually. I think the Jets kind of screwed you up. That was the
Pesky
last game.
Jets.
Yeah, it was the Jets that screwed you up. So I went 3-5. I am 13-16-2 on the season. Not great, but now my season starts. So now you're in for it. Now I'm paying attention to all these games, Derek. So you
All right.
better be aware.
Okay.
So let's get into these matchups. I started last week, so you start with this week's Thursday night game. We have the Tampa Bay Bucks taking on the Atlanta Falcons in the ATL. Opened up at 3 points. The Falcons giving 3 points to the Bucks. Now it is Falcons giving 2 on Thursday Night Football.
This is basically a pick 'em. So give me the Falcons. I don't know why, and I keep sleeping on those Buccaneers, but just the home divisional game. Give me the Falcons.
All right. I like that.
Right.
Let's go over to the morning slates. And this is an early game. Where are they playing? Where are the Vikings and the Jets playing? They're in London?
Yes.
Oh, no. This changes everything. Okay, so the Jets and the Vikings, 6:30 a.m. on the West Coast. So that's going to be fun. Definitely getting up. So yeah, this is my first Sunday. I'm getting up at 6 a.m. on a Sunday to get ready for the football slate.
Right you all.
Oh yeah, dude. Yeah, I need more British Derek. The New York Jets against the Minnesota Vikings opened up with the Jets giving 3.5. It is now Vikings giving 2.5. So I'd like to go with the Jets. Aaron Rodgers getting points. I would love that.
Now come off it, mate. Who you got?
I got to go with the Vikings. Vikings have been a hot team, man.
Oh, pish posh pippy cock.
All right, so I'm going to go with the Vikings giving 2.5. Let's switch over to the normal slate of the morning games. You have the Carolina Panthers. Panthers traveling to Chicago. Opened up as Chicago Bears giving 5.5. Now it is the Bears giving 3.5.
Yeah, I was impressed with what the Bears did last week against the Rams. Their defense is legit.
Dude, do you remember last week where we were talking about the Rams and the Bears, and we were like, "What's going on with this spread? It's stupid. It's a gimme." Yeah, they beat the crap out of the Rams.
I don't know. They beat the crap out of them, but yeah,
they lost. They lost. The Rams lost.
Yeah, all right. They beat the Niners. Calm down.
It was a game that I picked and I lost. I'm upset. I have the right to be upset, Derek.
I was surprised about that too, but I guess it was the whole West Coast team going to the East Coast, but Midwest. Yeah, another revenge game for Andy Dalton. He was a Bear quarterback for a little bit of time. I'm going to go with the Chicago Bears here. I think they got their rhythm going a little bit. Defense is playing well. Give me the Bears. Chicago Bears.
Bears. Okay, so let's go to a NFC AFC North showdown. The Baltimore Ravens taking on the Cincinnati Bengals. This could very well be the end of the Bengals season if they lose this one.
Wow.
Be dramatic. Be dramatic making that declaration. Right now, the Bengals, it opened up with the Bengals giving 1.5. It is now shifted to the road favorites, Baltimore Ravens giving 2.5. I am going to go with the Bengals here.
I like it.
I'm going to go with the Bengals because they're going to come out swinging. They're going to come out desperate. They need to win this game. It is at home. They're going to be jacked up for this. So 2.5 points, home underdog. I'm going to go with the Bengals.
Meow. I like it, Walter.
All right, switching over to another AFC matchup, potential playoff matchup here. The Buffalo Bills traveling to Houston to take on the Texans. The Houston Texans were giving it opened up 1.5, but now it is Buffalo giving 1, essentially a pick 'em. So who do you have?
Their old revenge game for Stephon Diggs, playing against his team that he wanted to get away from for whatever reason.
Right. You wish this was in Buffalo though.
I do wish this was a Buffalo, but I'll take it to Houston. The Bills got punched in the mouth by the Ravens, and I don't think the Bills are in that dire of a situation. I just think that they got shit stomped on national TV by a team that was desperate.
Shit stomped. I've never heard that term before. Shit stomped.
Shit stomped. Yep.
All right. Nice.
It's my phrase. I'm going with the Buffalo Bills here. I think that Josh Allen goes into Houston, wins the game, looks across the field, and looks at Stephon Diggs and says, "I don't need you anymore." Kind of like Cher. I don't need you anymore.
Oh, hell yeah. Don't stop. Keep going. Keep going. I need more.
Do you believe in life after love? Josh Allen does.
Oh my God! All right, so you're going with who are you going with? Just threw me off.
The Bills. Come on, you didn't catch that Cher analogy? Jesus.
I'm sorry. All right, so you're going with the Bears. Nice pick. All right, so let's go with the next matchup. It is a showdown in the AFC South. The Indianapolis Colts traveling to Jacksonville opened up at Jags, giving 2.5, and it is currently the same 2.5 points. God, why do I always get the ugly games, man? I'll go.
They may be ugly to you, but they're beautiful to me.
I will go with. I mean, the Jacksonville has to win at some point. They have to win. Giving 2 points though, 2.5.
And
yeah,
they're wearing their old throwback jerseys when they were first a team in the league.
Oh, look at that!
If that's not all the motivation you need to take the Jaguars, I don't know what will be.
Well, and then what's the status with Jonathan Taylor? Because he was banged up a little bit last year.
He said he's dealing with an ankle sprain right now.
All right, so we'll see. I'll take the Jags.
Meow.
Home favorites. Yeah, I like my kitties. All right, so let's go ahead and go. Let's go to the NFC or AFC East. Excuse me. The Dolphins taking on the Patriots at Foxborough. Ooh. Opened up with the Dolphins giving 3.5. Now it is the Patriots giving 1.
Man, the Dolphins just need a quarterback really badly.
Yes, I feel
bad. I feel bad for Mike McDaniel every week, just watching on the sidelines and looking like a coke dealer that knows he's at his final rope here. They're gonna break my legs.
Looking like Scarface, yeah.
No, he looks like you've seen Carlito's Way, right?
Oh yeah, of course.
He looks like Carlito's.
Another great film with Al Pacino.
Yes. He looks like is it Sonny, his lawyer?
Yes.
Sean Penn.
Yeah, Sean Penn. Fantastic. Sonny, great name for mafia movies.
Yes.
Gangster.
God, this one, you talk about ugly games that only a mother can love.
Back to back, just
you know what? I don't know why I'm doing this.
Oh Lord. Don't do it.
Snoop Huntley's got to get a win with these Dolphins. Give me the Dolphins.
All right. I took the Dolphins last week. It didn't go good for me. So buyer beware on that pick. Okay, let's go with the team that we were talking about earlier, Jaden Daniels. He is riding high. He is hosting the Cleveland Browns in Washington. Currently opened up with the Browns giving 2.5. It is currently Washington giving 3.5. I still like what I'm seeing from the Commanders, that offense, and I know Nick Chubb is supposedly going to give it a go this week.
We'll see.
Right?
He's been practice. He's been cleared to practice. I don't know if he's cleared to play.
Okay, so we'll have to see what happens with Nick Chubb. But regardless, that offense of Cleveland, when healthy, I don't think that they will keep up with. It'll be interesting to see the matchup with the offensive line, with the Commanders and Myles Garrett and all of that, and Jaden Daniels. But I'm gonna go with the Commanders. The Commanders giving 3.5. I'm going Commandos on that one. So let's switch over to your team, Derek. It is your team now, and it is Las Vegas traveling to Denver. Currently opened up with the Broncos giving 1. It's now at 2.5 for the Broncos.
Yeah, I think the Broncos win this game. I think there's just too many distractions going on with the Raiders right now, especially after a win. Probably not good vibes going in the building right now. Give me the Broncos.
You went against the Raiders last week, and
I know.
on that one.
I know.
All right. Now we go over to my team. The 1 o'clock. This is now the afternoon slates. That was the first one. The Vegas Raiders and the Denver Broncos. That was the first of the afternoon slates. The second one is the Cardinals and the Niners. The Tom Brady Bowl for this week. Tom Brady and Kevin Burkhardt on the call. Yeah, they're on the call.
Brady's calling this game.
Yeah, he's calling this game. They switched him off of. He was originally supposed to do Miami and the Patriots because I think they're doing a statue unveiling, but then they switched it. Now he's coming here. He's coming to the Bay.
He's doing a statue unveiling in New England, and he's not going to be there for that?
And he's not going to be there. They switched him to the Cardinals and 49ers because it's the better game, I guess.
Wow.
Yeah.
So wait, they're actually going to unveil a statue of Tom Brady, and he's like, I can't.
So yeah, Brady is not going to be in attendance, and Brady Sr. will be there on his behalf.
Wow.
Yeah. Is that breaking news to you? You didn't know that?
I did not know that at all. I thought that I know that was supposed to be the case, that he was going to call a New England game. Man, the Patriots must be pissed about that, honestly.
Yeah, I don't know if they're changing the statue unveiling date, but from what I understand from Greg, he Senior is going to be in New England on behalf of Tom Brady, and Brady will be out here calling the 49er game.
Wow, did not know that.
Yeah. So, anyways, no one else cares about Tom Brady and his family struggles. Okay, so let's go with the Cardinals and 49ers. It opened up at 9.5 for the 49ers. Currently at 7. I think I might take the Cardinals. I think this is going to be a typical NFC West game. I think the Niners win outright.
Yeah, but you got the Cardinals covering.
Cardinals cover 7 points. I'll take the Cardinals.
The old card cover. Trying to be clever there, and I failed miserably. Keep moving on, Walter.
All right, let's keep it going. Let's go over to another NFC showdown. You have the Green Bay Packers traveling to Los Angeles to take on the LA Rams. It is a juicy one. It is the 125. I believe it's on Fox. Should be on Fox. 125 game.
I think it's on CBS.
Is it on CBS? Oh, they did the
they do the old switcheroo.
Yeah. The Rams. It opened up with the Rams giving 1.5. Now it is the Packers giving 3. Road favorites are the Green Bay Packers.
Yes, this game is on CBS. I believe Jordan Love will come back in this game. So it's Stafford versus Love. Man.
Stafford versus Love sounds like a MTV show like in the future.
Yeah.
Stafford versus Love.
I'm gonna go with the Rams here. I think the Rams get a win here.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
I think that the Packers
taking the points. It's smart. Taking the points at home. Smart.
Yeah. Well, I'll take the Rams to even straight up win this game. I think that I think the Packers are a good team. They just might go through a little bit of struggles right now. So because Jordan Love's getting used to coming back and everything. He played a great game last week. It was very Favrean, and he honored him before the game. I know Brett Favre's going through Parkinson's disease right now. It's terrible. And he was rocking his jersey before the game and having a very Favrean game, throwing 4 touchdowns and 3 picks. But I
battled back in that game, though, man. That was a blowout, 28-0, right? And it came back to only lose.
It was basically the Georgia Alabama game. If you watched that the night before,
dude, that was incredible. Yeah, that was crazy.
So I think
that
the Packers will be fine.
Okay,
in the long term, but I think they lose this week. Yeah.
Okay. All right, let's go over to the final afternoon slate or final game in the afternoon slate. It is the New York Giants taking on the Seattle Seahawks. Opened up with the Seahawks giving 3.5. It is now the Seahawks giving 6.5. It seems a little beefy to me. Little beefy, but it is in Seattle. It's a where were the Giants last week? Where did they play?
Giants were home against the Cowboys, and they have
it was a
Thursday night, so they had a little bit of time to prepare.
Oh, they had time to. Okay, that changes things. Actually, they have more time to prepare. I am going to actually go with the Giants. I'm going to take the Giants taking the point 6.5. I'm still not sold on the Seahawks yet, man. I'm still not sold on them.
Yeah, and it's a short week for the Seahawks too. Yeah, I don't hate that pick, Walter.
Yep. All right, so I'm going with the Giants on that one, getting 6.5 points. Sunday night football. once upon a time, this was a beautiful matchup, but now it could be okay. Dallas Cowboys taking on the Pittsburgh Steelers
Yeah, I'd still
on
say beautiful.
Sunday Night Football. Storied franchises, of course, opened up with the Cowboys getting 1.5. It is currently at the Steelers giving 2.5. I'm sorry, I said that wrong. Cowboys opened up as the favorites, giving 1.5, not getting 1.5, giving 1.5. Now it is the Steelers giving 2.5 points.
Micah Parsons not playing in this game. DeMarcus Lawrence not playing in this game.
Mm-hmm.
So they're missing their best pass rushers from the Cowboys. However, for whatever reason, I think that Mike Zimmer has a good game plan against Justin Fields. I'll take the Cowboys.
Ooh, okay. All right. I like that. That ends the slate on Saturday. Or
I
on
also
Sunday,
like to live
excuse me.
dangerously. Sorry, I got to go back to the British voice.
No, you're good. I love it. Just keep doing it. You should next podcast. You should just do it entirely in a British voice.
I might do that, old chap. I might do that.
Yeah, and then have Harmony chime in every now and then too.
Oh yeah, Harmony.
I think I saw her behind you a little while ago.
Shh, easy there.
She's warming up for her big hit on Friday. All right, so let's go to Monday night. That is it for the Sunday slate. Monday Night Football. It is the New Orleans Saints going to Arrowhead to Kansas City to take on the Kansas City Chiefs. Opened up with the Chiefs giving 8 points. It is now the Chiefs giving 5.5, so it is dropped. Last week I took the Chiefs and I expected them to cover 8 points. They did not cover the 8 points. They won by 7, so I was disappointed. But I think that they cover the 5.5 here. I think that it could be a close game, but ultimately, Patrick Mahomes, that offense, they're going to continue to do what they do, and I don't know if the Saints can keep up. So I'm going to go with the Chiefs on that one at home. Patrick Mahomes, again, you can't really go against that and can't go against the grain there. So I'll go with the Chiefs on Monday night. So that concludes our producer pick'ems, and that concludes this episode of the Practice Squad with Walter Icabalceta and Derek Papa. Derek, it was fun. I'll see you in a couple hours, buddy.
All right. I look forward to it. I'll see you then, Walter.
All right. Well, everybody, I hope you guys enjoyed this episode of the podcast of the Practice Squad. Again, we will do this every week. Episodes releasing every Thursday morning, and we'll try to get back to a live broadcast next week. We'll do that live on YouTube and Twitch. We'll do it next week, Wednesday night. What do you say, Derek?
I'm all for it. That damn John Dickinson had to go to Hawaii and steal our shine.
Yeah, he's getting a tan. He needs the tan though. He desperately.
He does need the tan. Hey, it's a good time to go to Hawaii. I get it. Mela Kamiki Laka is the thing you say.
You're gonna come in a Hawaiian skirt, Derek? You're gonna come into work looking like that?
No, why would I do that? That makes no sense, Walter.
No, you were doing your.
Maybe I'll do that the week that everybody goes to Hawaii without me.
Okay. On that note, we are ending the Practice Squad. Everybody, I hope you guys enjoyed this episode of the podcast. We will do it every week. Look forward to it. As always, Derek Papa, myself, Walter Icabalceta, and you're listening to KMBR, the sports leader.
Add me next time.